Welcome to the second episode of Nintendo Historia, and I'm your host Chris Tices of Nintendo Ninja News. We are talking about today, as promised in one of our Nintendo Ninja News show episodes, the EReader, a very nice glitzy little item which not many people own nowadays, where you're allowed to scan e-cards and get levels and items and things like that. And of course, it fits quite snugly into your old Game Boy. Actually, that is incorrect. You cannot put it in a Game Boy. That was silly of me. Wrong generation. So for those who are wondering, the answer is no. But you can put it in your Game Boy Advance generation. Of course, you can fit them under there, and that's how it would work. Now obviously I think this was mostly built for the GBA generation, which was very cool, that sort of thing. So this thing was released in around December 2001. It was popular in Japan, but it was not very popular in North America. It was only released in North America and Australia. Apparently it might have skipped out in Europe, but I doubt that. I would say that quite a few European people grabbed their hands on this guy. Now, it was 8 megapixel flash memory, and the e-cards held 2.2 kilobytes of data, which was interesting. Now, there was the EReader Plus that had a GameLink cable port, and it connected to a second Game Boy Advance and GameCube in order to read the cards to get you items and special berries and items for the Animal Crossing game for the GameCube. Now, some of the e-card series that came out was NES game levels for Super Mario Advance 4 and Super Mario Brothers 3. Of course, it had Animal Crossing items. And for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. And we'll go into that about nowish. So, of course, some of those classic Super Nintendo games, apart from that, was Donkey Kong 1, 2, and 3, Excite Bike, Golf, Ice Climber, Pinball, Tennis, and Urban Championships. So they had some of the full games, and that was very, very cool. With the Pokemon Battle E, when scanned into Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, allowed the player to load up special trainers to battle or to get the special berries. In Japan, the series sold as 6 sets, each with a different theme, and with 10 cards in each one. So they had trainer cards, Egmigma berries, Eon ticket, and Battle E cards, which were released for Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green in Pokemon Emerald, which is very, very cool. Which was very, very interesting. Now, what else was there, as you say, for these cards? Now, it had the EX Ruby and Sapphire trading card expansion, Pokedex entries only. Then you had the Sandstorm trading card expansion set. And then you had the Team Magma versus Team Aqua sort of set. And you had the McDonald's Pokemon E Minimal pack, which was interesting. And all these different things too. Funny trivia, it would take 62,500 e-reader cards to create the data on one GameCube disc, those little mini discs that they had, which was very, very cool. For me, and looking at all this information, this seemed to be like a precursor to the Amiibos and sort of scanning information into the game and sort of unlocking stuff. But the difference with the e-readers and the Amiibos, or up there, is that the information was on here, where with the Amiibos you're unlocking content that's already on the disc. So that was the big difference about it. And I think eventually the idea wore out, people got tired of it, and things got a lot more advanced in the next generation for the Wii, and then the Wii U now saw sort of come back with the toys to life. Industry, you can say. So very, very interesting. Now the cards themselves is interesting. Now it's called dot codes. On these cards they had a specialized barcode technology, and it would have 1 or 2 sets of dot codes on them, either a wide strip on the left hand side of the card or wide strip on both the left and right hand side, a narrow strip on the bottom of the card, or a short strip on the bottom of the card with a long strip on the left side of the card. Smaller games may require scanning only one card, while greater NES games can require as many as 5 cards in order to start the application. It's quite a lot, and that would require about 10 kilobytes, which is maybe about the size of an NES game. The shorter set of dot codes were only used with the Pokemon trading card games. So that was very, very interesting. Which were published by Nintendo and Wizards of the Coast, who do Magic cards. Pretty cool. So that is the very interesting thing. Now, you can actually use the EReader on the Game Boy Player, which is for the Nintendo GameCube. And it connects all well and all good and things like that. It can connect to a DS Lite, but not the original DS console, which is very interesting. Now, it can fit into the Game Boy Micro, which is a smaller console, and has a link cable port, but not the standard connector. A special Game Boy Micro game link cable must be used in order to make that work. So, very, very cool. So, what can we say about the EReader? I think it was a good product for its time, but sadly, it didn't quite catch on for everyone. And I think that was the sad thing about it. And now we have something like that in Amiibos, unlocking content, little small things like that. But I think it's a little better with the figurines. You can actually show them off instead of cards, which are kept in books and folders and things like that. But for those who do have good collections of them, you've got something pretty rare and cool to show off. A lot, I would say, more special than your general Pokemon cards and Amiibo cards that they have with the Animal Crossing series. So very, very cool, I would say the least. So that brings us to the end of this little history chapter. I hope you've enjoyed it. Tell us more about the EReader if you have more information than me, and start a bit of a conversation, discussion about it. It'd be very cool to see what people know about this little item here. So that's all I have for now, and I'll see you next time.